Namaste. When we place the Celtic Cross, we have already done the visible work. The cards are laid, the structure is clear, but reading does not begin with structure. Reading begins with attention. So before I try to explain anything, I pause. I look at the whole spread. Not one card, not one position, but the entire picture. Because this is not 10 separate messages, it is one situation unfolding. Tarot is not a collection of answers. It is a way of seeing relationships. So, the first thing I ask myself is not, what does this card mean? I ask, what is happening here? What is the atmosphere of this spread? Does it feel heavy? Is there pressure? Does it feel open? Is something changing? Does it feel still, as if nothing wants to move yet? That first impression is important. It tells us how the situation is being lived, not just described. Now, I allow my eyes to move naturally across the cards. I notice where my attention is drawn first. Very often, the spread itself shows us where to begin. Then I start to observe how the cards relate to one another. This card seems to hold, this one seems to push, another appears to pause. Already we are seeing interaction, not meanings but dynamics. Tarot is always about interaction. Life is rarely one emotion or one condition at a time. The cards reflect that complexity. Now I look for what is repeating. Are there similar elements appearing again and again? The same suit, the same tone, the same kind of movement or lack of movement. Repetition tells us where energy is concentrated. It shows what cannot be ignored. When something appears more than once, it is not accidental. It is where attention is required. Next, I begin to notice direction. Are the cards suggesting movement from one state to another? Do they show effort, hesitation, release, or transition? Tarot is not describing isolated movements, it is describing a process. Something has led to this point. Something is being experienced now. Something is beginning to shift. And our role as readers is not to predict where it will end, but to understand what is unfolding. This is why we do not rush. If we move too quickly into interpretation, we stop listening. Instead, we let the cards speak gradually. We let the spread speak gradually. We connect what we see. Where there is tension, we acknowledge it. Where there is repetition, we recognize its importance. Where there is change, we observe its direction. Our reading becomes meaningful not because we explain every symbol, but because we describe the experience honestly. At this stage, the cards are no longer separate pieces of information. They form a single narrative. And when we speak from that narrative, the reading feels clear, not forced. The person receiving the reading does not need complexity. They need recognition. They need to see their own situation reflected in a way that brings understanding. That is the purpose of the Celtic Cross. Not to overwhelm us with detail, but to show us the layers of one movement, the visible, the hidden, the past influences, and the direction in which things are moving. So, when you practice, do not begin by analyzing, begin by looking. Sit with the spread. Let your attention settle. Notice before you interpret. Ask yourself, what is this spread showing me about change, about tension, about movement? If you can answer that, you are already reading. Meaning comes afterwards. Observation comes first, and that is what transforms our layout into understanding. Namaste.